Night Vision. Following clues left by our ancestors, we unbury the past to reveal a knowledge of unfathomable value, putting us just a little closer to our own true birthrights. From the secret history of a possible bloodline of Jesus Christ, the secret history of America's founders, to the secret history of extraterrestrial interaction on our planet, here to bring light to the night. Your host for Night Vision Radio, Renee Barnett.
Hey everyone, welcome to Night Vision. Happy Friday night or Saturday morning, whichever it may be for you, wherever you are. And we've got a great show planned for tonight. But before we get started, I wanted to see if I could get our executive producer and program director, Bill Skywatcher, to hop on. Hey, Bill.
What's happening?
Hey, you tell me, because I know there's a lot of stuff coming down the pike at KZRADB. So I wanted to sort of let our watchers and listeners know a little bit about what you can talk about. I know there's some things that haven't been yet revealed, but others that may be able to be told about. What can you tell us?
Well, a new show started tonight, actually. Into the Fire True Crime Stories. Oh, I think Renee.
Love it.
Yep, I think you would like that. And
absolutely.
Listeners.
I'm a sucker for true crime. I don't know why, but I get it from my mom. But yeah, definitely that's going to be one for me.
But being that this is the holiday season, if you tune in to 4 shows next week, and that would be War Party Paranormal that airs at 9 p.m. Eastern on Mondays. MUFON WhatsApp at 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. And then we have I Detective with Chris DePerno, Marianne, Rob, and and the whole crew. And last but not least.
Wait a minute. When does that air?
6 p.m. Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay, I'm writing this down.
And then AJ and Natalie with Soul Wanderings at 8 p.m. Wednesday. The 12th caller during those shows are going to receive a free yearly membership for KGRA.
Okay, so on each of those, so there'll be 4 winners?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's really good. And so it's the what caller? The 4th caller?
The number 12, like the 12 days.
The 12th caller, like the 12th planet. Okay.
I don't know, but Mark is going to agree with that one.
I don't know. I might
the 12th planet.
I might channel a little Zechariah Sitchin on you. I don't know.
Again, what Mark does on Sky Tour live stream.
And I haven't even announced who my guest is. You're saying Mark.
They've seen the schedule.
We're talking about astronomer Marc D'Antonio of Sky Tour live
stream.
And, let's bring him on. We're talking about him. We may as well talk to his face.
Before we do, make sure you visit his website, skytourlive.org or skytourlive.com. It's got great content on there. Great stuff.
Right. It's on a ticker right now, going across the screen.
There you go. So I'm sure, but I was going to say, Mark has an observatory in AZ, Arizona, and he's going to. I'll let him fill in what's going on over there because I don't want to he's going to say, well, Bill, I might as well not even be on the show. You're saying everything I'm going to say anyway.
Exactly.
So yes, let's bring Mark on.
Let's bring in Mark with us.
There he is.
Marc D'Antonio.
I don't have to say a word.
You don't. You really don't.
He's saying everything for me down there. He's
I do have
a story of a man named Brady. Look, my voice is a little bit shot. Sorry.
This
Mark,
is just
I do have a very serious question for you.
Yes.
Wait. Before you get to the seriousness, I got to do
No. I have to ask this right now because it's urgent.
Okay.
What happened to your apostrophe? On Facebook.
Is this thing on? Yeah, actually.
Apostrophe and D'Antonio. It doesn't have an apostrophe.
I remove it because
it messes everybody up.
at the bank, at the CVS, everywhere you go, they put a space because they can't do the apostrophe. Medical is worst of all.
Huh?
They spell it DEANTON. Oh God! So no, it's just
I
DA.
can't tell you how many times I've heard people say Marc D'Antonio, and I want to say no. That's an apostrophe, not a letter. It's D'Antonio.
I know. It's actually, the truth is D'Antonio.
D'Antonio.
Marco D'Antonio. My father was from Italy, right? Of Italian descent.
Oh boy, you're
From
never
Capistrano, Italy, by the way.
You're never gonna live that down because now that's every time I talk to you, it's gonna be like that. Marc D'Antonio.
No. You want to get it right, you say Marco D'Antonio.
Marco
D'Antonio.
Marco Polo.
And you see how he uses the hands like an Italian word?
You have to use
the hands. The hands are very descriptive. The hands are used to actually define, mold, and shape the form of the letters that are coming out of my face.
Well, I'll bail out, but it's.
Well, did you finish, Bill? Is there anything else you wanted to say?
I can announce it. Michael Schratt's coming to KJR in January with a show called That's Classified. That's going to be really good.
But there'll be no content because he can't talk about any of it.
He can't talk about a thing. So
but
we can ask him all the questions that we want, but if we get answers, he's just going to have to kill us.
Right.
So what day is he and time is he going to air?
To be determined.
Ooh, okay, but it's going to be in January.
Yes.
Great.
Something else for February, but I can't talk about that at all.
Oh, be quiet. Don't tell me that you can't talk about it. Can't talk about it. Then first you tell 10 people.
Mark, you know them, so.
Yes, I do.
Do I?
I don't know if you do. But let's just say, this is a tricky question.
KGRA, what do we got going on? We got
by the way, that Vision 22 is incorrect.
Well, that's what. No, that's what Eric gave me.
Vision for both monthly and annual.
Well, let me take down my scroll there.
It says Vision for monthly, Vision 22.
It's both.
So it's Vision for each. That's what. Hey, I blame Eric.
But
you can't blame Eric.
The hint of who's coming in February.
He's blameless.
Is I don't want to say how many, but they were at Marianne Rob's house while we were there for 4th of July.
Oh, that's not fair because I wasn't there.
No, but that's that's the whole point.
I was there.
Mark knows.
Well, that's what I know. That's not fair. You got to give a hint that I.
You know what? Just keep Bill talking, and he'll just spill the beans. No, I have chased him out of his own house.
Yes.
Okay, because I would start talking about something, and he'd finish the sentence. And just ruin the whole thing for me.
I know.
And say, Bill, you said it. Get my hands around your neck. It was so funny.
Goodbye.
He does it all the time. He's very
Have
good
a great show. I'm out of here before I get in trouble.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks
so much. Speaking about spilling the tea, let's spill a little bit about astronomy. But also, I would really like to twist your arm to talk about your personal experience and recovery that you told me about in a phone call, because I think you can. Well, obviously, you really are onto something.
I think so.
What I'm talking about is a time when you were ill, had a near-death experience, or something like that. Connected with some people, got some information, but then you came back, you had a terrible, terrible prognosis for being, quadriplegic or at least paraplegic. And then you said no. And you figured out a way to work on yourself. And I mean, this is amazing. So
it's
wherever you want to start.
It's something that I didn't expect. But when, I had a deadline. It was May of.
How did you find yourself in that situation?
Oh, I got an infection in 2 of my heart valves, and they both had to be changed, like changing the valves in the car. Except this was a Sorry about
That's
that.
a very dangerous.
Yeah. So the
situation.
hospital here in Connecticut couldn't do it, but the only doctor in the entire country that could do it was at Mount Sinai in New York.
In New York.
An hour and a half, 2-hour drive. So they packed me in an ambulance and drove me down to Manhattan, and I ended up having the surgery down there. Now, the doctor met me a couple of days ahead of the surgery, a day ahead, and we agreed that if anything happened that went wrong, that he was going to tell me and not candy coating. I'm not a candy coating guy. I don't care about that. I mean, whatever it is, I deal with it,
Yeah.
Trust me, I've been there before, right? So he agreed. I was an astronomer. This is what we look like. And he's a cardiothoracic surgeon. Obviously, as people in our sciences, we want to, have a good rapport with people. And I talked to him and said, tell me everything. Don't hide anything. Okay, I promise I will. And so he did. And after the surgery, though, or I should say during the surgery, I distinctly remember being taken out of the operating room and whisked away under cover. And I was like, what's going on? What's happening? Why are they taking me? Who's this? Who are you people? I was being taken out of there. And I couldn't see anybody's face because they covered me and I was being moved. And I saw I was on a gurney being wheeled down a road. And I saw mountains in the distance. I was wondering. And now any professional is going to say, well, anesthesia, man, messes with your head. And it does. This is absolutely right. And no doubt about it. So, and people do have strange visions and apparitions when they're having surgery.
In the moment, as a science guy, were you saying that to yourself, or were you just with the whatever it was?
I was trying to make heads or tails, and I was saying to myself, anesthesia is a tricky thing. I was saying that actively to myself, because I was as awake as I am now. Okay, talking to you. Yet I wasn't. And the weird thing, at least as it turns out, and so I ended up looking around and trying to study my surroundings because I felt like I was being abducted. And I was wondering what happened to the surgeon. Did they kill him? I mean, why are they taking me? Is this like a cartel? What the hell's going on? And then what would they be doing? Why me? So the next thing I know is I'm out. And then I'm awake again. And I'm in New Mexico. I'm like, what the heck? What am I doing here? How did I know it was New Mexico? I can't tell you.
You just knew.
I just knew, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I started seeing people, and this was a 3.5 hour odyssey. All right, it's for 3.5 hours. I was counting the time, and what's funny is, in the state I was in, I was counting time pretty accurately, and I measured 3.5 hours. And later on the post-operative report, they said my heart was stopped for 3.5 hours. Wow. Interesting, right? I mean, but it may or may not be a direct connection.
How were you keeping track of time?
Well, that's the thing. It's somehow I knew what the time was.
Okay, so you knew. Okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
So, sort of inner clock or way of.
Yeah. So anyway, now at this point, they're carrying me around because I'm a rag doll. I can't move. So whoever they are, carrying me around like by the shoulders, by the arms, under the arms, and they load me into. It was 2 cars. It was a modern day thing, and one was a 1974 Dodge Charger, metal flake blue with the silver hubcaps. I remember I specifically remember because I was studying my surroundings because I thought if I can escape, I could tell the police. Because I thought I was reporting my abduction if I could get away. And it has those half windows in the back, which were hard to see through. And they put me into the wheel well of the back seat. So I was over the hump. It was uncomfortable. And I could look up in the back window and I saw a distributor cap and a map, a Rand McNally map book. And I was trying to see what the maps were for. And as I got in there, as they were dragging me in there, I could see just quickly that it was New Mexico. Okay, so maybe that's how I got the New Mexico out of this.
Yeah.
Well, now in this dream, whatever you want to call it, they drove me to a house, and in this house, they pulled in under the house in like a root cellar, dirt driveway inside. Then they took me out of this and placed me up against peat moss. There was peat moss in these bags behind me, and I was sitting up against it. And I'm yelling, "Who the F are you people?" I was really being nasty to them. And I remember the kid, looked like maybe 22, 23, long, straight brown hair, big brown eyes. Okay. And he had two spindles of hair that were braids that came down like this. And there was a black and a white feather wrapped up in them all the way down. And it came out at the bottom in a little tuft. And I wondered what he was doing. And there was a woman out of picture all the time. I couldn't move my head or anything. I was a rag doll. So wherever they put me, I could only move my eyes. And so I heard them talking amongst themselves, and I recognized that it was Navajo. And I've always wanted to know what they were saying. So I'm actually learning Navajo now, by the way. Believe it or not. It is not an easy language, but I'm trying to just see if I get a key kick from something that I can remember. But anyway, I heard the female say something, and then the kid said, "Okay, we got to go." Why? Where are we going? Why are we here? Who are you people? What the F are you doing with me here? I'm supposed to be in surgery. And it just went on and on and on. So anyway, off I went back in the car, and this time they transferred me. They went to there was like this little workshop that they drove into through the garage. You can see the door go up like the old fashioned doors, and then came down, and I could see that through the back window. I could see this door open up like that, and then once I was in, the door came down, and I'm going, wow. Now it was the sound was all confined. I could hear not an echo, but a confined sound. Like when you walk into a bedroom and you're talking on the phone, people know you're on the phone in a room because it sounds different.
Yeah.
I heard the same thing. The car noise was now reverberating off these walls. So they took me out of that car and they put me in this old El Camino in the back. Right. It was a primer gray El Camino, and they put me in the back up against the window like this. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is going on here? Straight at the back end on the tailgate was an STP sticker, kind of crooked like that. It said STP, a red sticker with a white lettering.
Well treatment. Yeah.
To my right was an old metal gas can on its side with a little articulating spout. And to my left was a Quaker State oil can crushed, a green and white oil can crushed flat, sitting next to me. I was remembering every detail because I had to be able to tell the police when they got away. I was absolutely certain I was being abducted because I was as awake as I am now. I'm telling you right now. And so anyway, now they drive, and now all of this takes a course of several hours. And in the end, they're driving down a dirt road, and I'm looking out of the back. I'm in the El Camino, the back end. I'm getting dust in my face. I see the trail of dust coming up. It's a dirt road. I feel the bumps, and they're going really fast. And I hear the woman yell, "Come on, it's coming. We have to go. We have to go faster. It's coming." And the car goes even faster. And I'm yelling, "Hey, I'm going to fall out. What are you doing?" No idea what they're talking about. Then they stop. They turn the car to the side. Okay. And I see the sun. It's a beautiful New Mexican sunset. Gorgeous sunset. I love the sunsets in the Southwest. And I see that the sun is now got something taking a bite out of it. Some amorphous black thing is moving in front of the sun. Okay. And when it gets in front of the sun fully, the landscape turns dank and gray, and it really looked awful. And now they're getting frantic. The woman is saying something in Navajo to the kid who's a Navajo. That's why he looked the way he did. Comes over and says, I know. And he comes over and he puts a large handgun in my lap, a silver Magnum handgun. I fired a silver Magnum handgun, not like this one. And I know that when I'm in a healthy condition, that sucker can hurt my wrist with the recoil. I didn't want to mess with this. I'm going, what the hell are you doing? I can't touch this thing. I can't even move my arms. And I couldn't move my hands, but it's in my lap, you know? And he looks at me, he goes, it's a symbol. It's symbology. Just follow our lead. Okay. And I'm like, I can't even pick it up. He goes, you don't have to. All right. But if you shoot with it, it'll work. And you've got to do this. I go, what the F are you talking about? You mother effer. I was really sounding off at him. And then I noticed that the sun is gone completely. The landscape is dark and dreary. And he's yelling at me, shoot now, shoot it. And I go, I can't. Bang, bang. I just said bang, bang. And I saw 2 little black flakes fall away. Oh, bang, bang, bang. 3 flakes fell away. Now I'm a science guy and I'm thinking, well, this is sort of interesting. Bang, 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 bang. Wow. 5 flakes fell away. Okay, and I actually see now a pinhole of the sun showing through. So I start going bang, 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 bang. And it started dribbling now in a constant torrent. And finally, it was the sun again. The entire thing was now clear. And he comes over to me, and this is the first time I saw that he had teeth. And he looked too big for his face. He puts his arm around my shoulder and says, you are going to be all right. And I go, what the hell just happened? You know? He goes, you did what you had to do. You followed our lead. You understand you are going to be all right, don't you? And I actually said, yeah, I think I do. And then I go, why are you doing this? Why me? And the woman said something in Navajo that I couldn't understand. And he snickered and he looks at me. He goes, she said, you're pretty thick. I go, what do you mean? She said, you're thick. He goes, we do this for our healers. You're a healer. I went, well, if I'm an effing healer, then why the heck am I here in the first place? And the woman said something else. And he's like, well, you don't want to know what she said, but you don't understand how it works yet. But once you do, you'll understand. He says, right now, though, you need to understand you're going to be just fine, okay? So no matter what happens, you're going to be fine. You got that? I went, yeah. And I did. I actually felt like I'd be fine. And all of a sudden, then they're walking away. They're walking away from the car. And I'm in the middle of the Mexican desert in the back of an El Camino. And they're walking away from me. I went, where the hell are you going? You got to bring me back to the hospital. And she says something again. And he goes, I agree with her. You really are dense. And he looks at me. Okay, he kind of does this on my forehead and he goes, you never left. And then boom, I was in a coma in the hospital.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, oh, wait a minute. Was this just a coma? Was this like no, that was not, no, this wasn't, no. And I was wide awake now. I'm in a coma. Now I'm in another state. I'm locked in. I can't move. I can't see. And all I can do is hear. And I'm wide awake. And I hear doctors on this side of me talking to my family on this side of me saying, at best we think he'll be a quadriplegic and blind. And hearing gasps from over on this side from my family. And then they said, if he survives. And now you would think that would strike terror into anyone's heart. No, I was saying, don't tell them that. I'm going to be fine, you idiot. Don't tell them things that aren't true. So, when the doctor came in, he'd come in every day and check me, and I could feel him, pushing my body. I could feel the pressure, but I couldn't feel him touching me. I could just feel that I'm moving. I could feel I'm being pushed, because my brain was reacting to something moving. And they're saying, no response. So maybe tomorrow. And I counted 5 long days where my brain took naps. But for the rest of the time, I was wide awake. Now, I'm an active person. So I was trying to figure out, what am I going to do today? No one's in here. I can hear like a freaking dog with 100 times the power of hearing. I hear the guy breathing 2 rooms down. Okay. I hear all kinds of stuff that I probably shouldn't hear. Okay. And I don't know what the heck I'm going to do for freaking, today. I didn't know that I was going to be in a coma for 5 days. And then when they finally, they came in on the third day, and I thought they were going to try and wake me up or something, because I had counted 5 days at that point, because
Do you know you were in a coma?
I did, because they said to my family, we're going to keep him in a medically induced coma. Because if we don't keep him in a medically induced coma, we're pretty certain he won't make it. So and I was like, I'm going to make it. Jesus, you guys being crazy. You're scaring everybody for no reason. Well, anyway, I ended up counting 5 days. But what I was counting was the change in the day-night cycle in the hospital. And because it's a 24-hour cycle, I got mixed up with the day-night cycle. How did I know that? Because I could see a subtle change of dark gray versus light gray. So I could see, okay? I could sense that. But the eyes didn't work at all. I had nothing, okay? But I knew I'd get it back. So I ended up miscounting, and I realized I got really angry that I was going to now have to be in here for another couple days. They said, we're going to try and see if we can get him out of the coma on day 5. It's like, well, this is day 5. And then I heard someone say, well, how much longer we have to wait? Like 2 more days. 2 more days? Now it's just like, no, getting really mad. So anyway, I dealt with it. I figured out what had happened. Right? I used that time, and I figured, okay, they're saying I'm a quadriplegic and blind. That means I must have had some kind of bad events during the surgery. So I'm a head in a jar. I can't feel arms and legs. So let me put that to work for me. I literally said that. I want to use more of my brain and try to figure this shit out, is what I said. So I'm sorry about that. You can bleep me. Okay. Bill can.
We're fine.
And so I started figuring out that my brain is plastic. It's rewritable. It's variable. You can make changes to your brain. And I started putting that to work for me. I said, I'm going to utilize this to get everything back. And I know it's going to work. I know it's going to work. I see it. I already see the finished product. I see the end result. And I was writing like an essay and a little program and some electrical connection stuff about my brain. And then when I needed to sleep, I would put it in a box in my brain and set it aside. I'd sleep. I'd wake up. I'd reach for my box. I'd pull it out, and there it was. Perfect recall. That's the other thing.
Wow.
In this state where you're just a head in a jar, I had 100% perfect recall to every single moment in my life. Every single moment. So I could go back to when I was 6. I go back when I was 4 and stepped in that stupid toy that I knew I shouldn't have and put a hole in my foot. Okay. I remember the pain. I remember going to the doctor, having stitches. I remember having the plastic pull out of my foot. All the details. But that was while I was a head in a jar. When they started lifting me out of the coma and I started coming back to the surface, that box was staying back there. And I needed that box full of my stuff because this I felt was medically revolutionary stuff back here. I was trying to reach for it and they were pulling me away from it. It was further and further away. I was like, no, I need this box. Put me back. I kept yelling in my head, put me back. But I woke up. They brought me to consciousness. And when they did that, all hell broke loose. Every time they touched me, it felt like molten lava. Okay. Every touch was burned. Let's move his arm. Oh my God. I would pass out from the feeling of just a simple touch. Every neuron was on fire and the brain didn't know how to deal with those yet. And I knew, okay, I'm going to have to fix that. So I said, I'm going to use the pain, and I came up with a mantra, and it was train the brain with pain. Train the brain with pain. if you feel the pain long enough, the brain's going to say, I can't stand this anymore. I've got to fix this. And it's going to find a workaround. That was my whole approach. Now here I am, quadriplegic, profoundly blind. Okay. And that's a tall order. It's a tall order. But I successfully got out of Mount Sinai in New York City, came back to Connecticut to a rehab hospital. And at the rehab hospital, they came in and they said, well, Mr. D'Antonio, can you see me? And I was like, no. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Well, you've had quite an assault on your brain. Your visual center has a really, really hard hit. Your visual cortex is like Swiss cheese. I don't mind telling you. And he goes, so you're going to be with us here at the rehab hospital 8 to 10 weeks. Okay. I thought 8 to 10 weeks. And what's the date now? I didn't know. And somebody finally said June 15th, 2015. All right. 8 to 10 weeks. That doesn't work for me. I got to speak at a MUFON conference in September in Irvine, California.
Oh my God.
So and he said, and you're probably going to need a year of recovery at home. Not sure how much mobility you'll get back or if you'll ever have a lot of your sight back. I've been doing this for 35 years and I kind of know how these track. And you're one of the more severe cases. And I thought, I heard all those words and they went into my head and I thought, I'm going to walk out of here. I'm going to be fine. And I told him that. I said, you know what? I'm going to be fine. I've got to speak at a conference in September. And he was like, I heard him audibly gasp.
He probably said he had more brain damage than we thought.
Exactly. And that's why he ordered cognitive therapy. That's exactly right.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he thought that I didn't understand. And he came over and he said, Mr. D'Antonio, are you aware of what happened to you? And I said, yeah, I had some strokes. I said, yeah, I just had some strokes. No, that's not how it came out because I had to learn how to talk again. So, and I'm finishing up a cold. That's why my voice is so rough. But
I know you've been recuperating from the same thing I've been recuperating from. I think it's
yeah.
In the UK have had exactly the same thing. We've all been coughing and snorting and all kinds of all manner of illnesses. But yeah.
So
I appreciate you coming on when you don't feel the absolute greatest.
Well, last week I couldn't, but I'm glad we could do it this week.
Well, you had to come this week, or else you would have been in big trouble.
Well, so the doctor said to me, "Yeah, you realize what happened to you?" And I told him, "Yeah, I had some strokes, but it didn't come out that way. It came out like this." And because I couldn't say the words yet. Okay, but he understood to his credit, and he said, "Okay, we're gonna devise a plan for you." Okay, thank you, doctor. That's how it came out. Okay, and he went out. It's okay to laugh because I did. Okay, because it sounded silly to me too at the time, but I knew it was going to be better. So he devised the plan. The first thing was to have these two girls come in and do cognitive therapy to see if I was all there. Because
that sounded crazy.
Because I sounded like I was diminishing the importance of the strokes or the effect of these strokes. Right. The girls came in, they gave me all these tests. They said, "What is this picture of?" And I said, "I'm blind. I can't see the picture." "Oh, I'm so sorry." "Yeah, don't worry about it." Okay, well, then let's try this. "We're going to give you some numbers. Please repeat them after me, okay?" "All right, fine." "Okay, you ready?" "Yes." "Okay, here we go." "Okay. 1. Yeah. Is that all?" "Yes." "Okay. 1. Good." It's like, geez. Yeah. They start off slow. Now, by the time they got the 7 numbers in reverse, and they want me to name them in reverse order. Okay. And random numbers, 7 random numbers in reverse order. I did that fine. And the one doing most of the speaking, because I couldn't see them, said to the other one who was her assistant, "Did you get that right?" Did he do it? She goes, yeah, he did. And I repeated it for him. Yeah, it was this, 35539.
Any circumstances. But anyway.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, we're going to give you an okay on the cognition. I guess you really, I said, yeah, if you want to learn some astrophysics, let me know. I'll be happy to help you. I was actually worried about losing that.
Sure.
And I didn't. That stayed because it had to. So, bottom line, after the doctor saw that I passed this cognition test, they sent me to this visual guy, Dr. Shafiq, at the hospital. I remember everybody. And I walk in there, not walk, but they wheel me in. They move me to his chair. I can't see the chair. I feel I'm sitting on his chair now. And he says, oh, Mark, just wanted to tell you my name is Dr. Shafiq. How are you? I'm doing good, Dr. Shafiq. How are you? I said, I wish I could see. He goes, well, let's see what we can do. And he gave me tests. He said, well, I looked at your MRI and your CAT scan. You took quite a hit on your visual cortex. I go, yeah, I know. I'm just rerouting. I'm going to reroute it all. He goes, oh, well, I don't know if it works that way, but we'll try to help you do something. Okay, fine. He says, but for now, I'm going to mark here that you are blind, profoundly blind for now. I went, okay, no problem. So 3 days later, I went back to him again. But what he didn't know is that I had asked the nurse to put Netflix up on my laptop and have it just staring at me in my bed. I couldn't see the laptop, but I could feel the laptop. Okay, because the screen emanates energy.
Right.
And I felt all of that like a blazing sun in my face. And it's true, your senses really do get enhanced when you lose one. And my ability to detect with a laptop, I could almost feel the frame of the laptop screen. I could almost feel where the frame was and the edges by moving, by if they move it back and forth, I could almost feel where it was. So when it moved back and forth, when they moved it, I knew they were moving it. I could feel that. Couldn't see anything, but I had her put on. I said, put on a Netflix TV series of some kind, and just play it all, endlessly. All right, autoplay's on or whatever it was on Netflix. It was a Seinfeld show. I hate Seinfeld. Okay, but you know what? Seinfeld is why I can see, and the reason is because I watched it day and night. The signals were getting into a fully operational eyes, fully operational optic nerves, but non-operational cortex, visual cortex. So the signals were dead ending. And when they dead end back there, in my case, they cause severe pain. So every time something's trying to go to the back of the brain, it would leave a pain signal in its wake. And so I had the worst migraines I've ever had in my life. Tears coming down my eyes. It was so painful. I would pass out from the pain just trying to see. So what's the brain do? Well, the brain has evolved to keep the organism, you, out of danger. So it's developed autonomous reflexes of some kind. Like you can't put your hand in a candle and burn your hand up, right? Because you go, ow. Well, that's not you. You're not saying, oh, I better pull my hand out and yell, ow. That's your brain. Mm-hmm. That's an evolved trait to protect you, the organism. So that's what the brain is doing here, you see? So I said, well, if the brain can do that, then if I just keep staring at this screen, okay, toward the heat source, then eventually the brain's going to say, I can't stand this anymore. I've got to fix this. I've got to make this work, right? I've got to pull the hand out of the candle, right? That's what it's trying to do. So I kept staring at it. It took about, this was the day and a half, total of 3 days, day and a half in. I was really fried. I mean, I was literally, my eyes were swollen and red. The pain was still unbearable. They said, would you like some medicine? No, I need the pain. The pain is the messenger here. The pain is the healing force. In this particular case, pain is essential. That's what I said to the doctors. And they're like, I'm going to give him morphine. No, I don't want any kind of drugs for this pain. I have to feel this pain. So, a day and a half in, I was watching some episode of Seinfeld, and all of a sudden, bam, just like that, boom, shadows. The brain found a new path, and it remade the path. I saw shadows. I saw a tall shadow. That had to be Kramer. Hey, Jerry. And then I saw the little one over here. Okay, probably George Costanza. You know, hey, Jerry. Right? And then Seinfeld was sort of in the middle there somewhere. And now my brain was like, oh, yeah, I understand this. I know what this is. Now I get it. And it started to reroute thousands and thousands and thousands upon thousands, hundreds of thousands of neurons to get the signal rerouted. Okay. And that was a day and a half from the time I saw Dr. Shafiq, where he said profoundly blind. So now I see shadows. In the next day and a half, I got to the point where I could see color and recognize people, but it took some doing. All right. Because the brain was saying, yeah, I remember this. Yep. Okay. Yep. I got that. Let's get that. Okay. Fix that one. Yeah. Okay. Got that fixed. And it was going through the whole process of reconstruction, and it was doing it. So I knew it would work. I knew this was going to work. And when I saw the shadows, that's when I knew I would see perfectly again. Okay. Well, the joke was on me. It's not quite perfect. There's one little spot, but I'll explain why. So I went to Dr. Shafiq on the third day again. Hello, Mr. D'Antonio. Hi there, Dr. Shafiq. How are you today? Well, been working on my eyes. Oh, yeah? What have you been doing? Well, I've been staring at the laptop, and I have to say, I think I found new therapy for patients that have had strokes. Because if they're willing to endure the pain, then they will see the gain. And by that, I mean, they'll get their sight back, possibly, if their eyes have been damaged. Wow, that's fanciful. Something like that. I said, well, put up the eye chart. The eye chart? Yeah, put up the eye chart. All right. He puts it up. I see the white square on the wall, but I can't read the top line, or it's the biggest line. I can't read it. It's like an M, big giant M. I can't even see that. I see there's something there, but it's blurry. I said, well, yeah, not quite yet. I can see the white square, and that right there. He went, what? And I could see there's something in the white square. I can't tell you what it is. Yeah, okay, I'm not ready for this. You can see that? What do you see? What do you see? What do you see? Well, I see that fuzzy black thing in the middle of the white square. Yes, it's a big letter. I go, yeah, I know, but I can't tell you what letter it is. He says, well, it's an M. I said, well, it kind of looked like an M, but I couldn't tell. And he goes, oh my gosh. And I'm hearing him writing, he's like writing frantically. Okay. And I said, look, this is what you got to do to help people. Okay. You got to step out of the box, man. All right. And I said, because I'm still quadriplegic at this point. I said, because I'm going to walk out of here and able to see. All right. And he's like, well, I don't know. I have to say, this is very interesting. So at the end of the week, I went back to him. And by that time, I had got my arms back, and I'll show you how in a minute. But I went back to him and had him put up the eye chart again. Actually, he already had it up. He wanted to know. And he said, hello, Mr. D'Antonio, can you read that top line? And I said, Ape Otif, APEOTF. Holy cow! This is fantastic. I've never had anyone who could see so quickly after this. This is amazing. I go, well, if you look at my eyes, can you see my eyes? Yeah, they're pretty red. I go, yeah. Well, that's because I've been subjecting them to the pain of forcing my eyes to look at a screen that they just didn't want to look at because the brain was rejecting the input, saying, ow, ow, ow. I was forcing it. When you force it, it works. And scribble. You're writing really fast.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
So, was it the idea that you were watching something that you did not like? So, it wouldn't have had the same effect if you'd had something on that you really wanted to see.
I don't think so. I think
you need the sort of pain of, just hating it, being bored with it, whatever it was. Was that part of it?
No, I don't think so. I think that in this case, what it was really entirely was I was trying to give you more gentle lighting here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Open it up a little more.
Your hair's blue.
Right, well, it was, huh? No, it really was. At that point, you're in a mode where your brain is in a mode of desperation. So in the desperate mode that your brain is in, it is reaching for anything. It doesn't matter. It would look at a can of green beans and be okay with it. Okay, it didn't matter what it was. This happened to be in moving pictures. All right.
You think it was better because there was movement?
Yes, that I do. I think that the
And then
movement,
the light,
the change in the light, okay,
rather
the
than
change
the can of green beans sitting here.
it was a variation of lighting going into the optic nerve. All of that variable stuff is what made it happen. And then, so my eyes were going to be okay. Now I had to work on my hands. Okay. Now, before I went to him for that second time, where I could read, or the third time, that third day or whatever, where I could read the chart, I had a nurse put a ball in my hand. And when she put the ball in my hand, it was like putting molten lava in my hand. And she closed my hand. Her name was Linda Hunter, the nurse. Okay, sweetheart. She called me Mr. Scruffy because I hadn't shaved in weeks. And she put the ball in my hand. It felt like molten lava in my hand. And it burned. It hurt so bad. And I was so grateful for that because I knew that this pain was going to translate to the brain. Because I knew I wasn't really being burned intellectually. It's just a sensor that was being set off, Hey, the wrong alarm was wired. So the brain had to rewire. And to do that, it had to get control of the hand again. So the pain was working. The pain cells, the neurons were getting the pain, the nerves were getting the pain sensor to kick off in the brain. And the brain was saying, ow, pull your hand out of that flame. I can't. I don't have the connection. I'm going to make a new one. Okay. So she put that ball in my hand and I passed out from the pain. And when I woke up, the ball was in my lap and my hand was, I mean, now remember, I could start to see a little bit. I could see that my hand was partially open. I couldn't really move it that much. I couldn't move it at all. I mean, I could just, feel that I could maybe move it a tiny little bit, something. But I had no real control. So when the nurse came back in, she says, "Oh, Mr. Scruffy, the ball fell out." I say, "Can you put it back in my hand, Linda?" "Oh, sure." Serious pain. Oh, God. And I sat there and I squeezed this ball in my hand with her holding me, and my fingers were squeezed around that ball because she put my fingers into that position. And they stayed there. And right there, while I'm doing that, all of a sudden, my hand went like this. It opened up and the ball came out. And she goes, "Oh, Mr. Scruffy, did you do that?" I said, "Yes, I did, Linda. Now I'm a paraplegic, not a quadriplegic."
Wow.
And I said, now, and that led to this, which led to this, which led to this, which led to this.
Wow.
And then the ball in this hand, the other hand, led to this and this and this.
Now, let me ask you this. Once you done the one hand,
yeah,
was the next hand easier because it already knew?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because now it was going down a path the brain understood.
Yes.
The brain was now going down memory lane. Whereas before, it was forging a new path because it didn't know it knew it. But once it knew it, okay, it was able to reforge the path much quicker. So it took like a couple days, while I was getting my eyesight back with that ball in my hand for this to actually start working. All right. This hand came within a few hours. Okay. So it was like day and a half, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. So, and then once I had that, the brain knew how to rewire limbs. And as I said, I told Linda, now I'm a paraplegic, not a quadriplegic. I said, little victories, Linda. And she goes, "That's right, Mrs. Scruffy." And now that happened, I got this, I got these back, I got a little bit of the torso. I could shift my pelvis and push the ball of my foot against the bottom of the bed. Molten lava. And I kept pushing, and it hurt. Pain, unbearable pain. So then that led to my foot twitching and pulling itself back. And my youngest son was in when this happened. He saw it happen. I was pushing my left foot into the bottom of the bed. And all of a sudden, I was using only my pelvis because my legs didn't work, my feet didn't work. So all I did was just pushing it, and there was no space. So the knee had to kind of bend a little. I was pushing my foot. And all of a sudden, my leg went and pulled back. Dad, your foot just moved. I went, yeah, Hunter, it did. He goes, all right, I'm going to be walking out of here. He goes, I believe it. I believe it. So, so anyway, that led to that whole leg coming back, and then pushing the opposite ball of your foot into the bottom of the bed made the other one come back. And I was in a wheelchair. They're just wheeling me around with the straps, to hold you in, because now you're going to fall all over the place, right? Well, now they said, you're actually ready for a walker. Wow. So I got in the walker, and it really was scary, and that was good, because that fear is the other thing, okay, that makes the brain go into overdrive to protect the organisms. It's all about the instinctive and evolutionary brain trying to protect the organism. That's what it's all about. So when you had the brain fighting fighting pain, that's one thing. But now the pain is managed. Once the brain reconnected things, that molten lava pain went away. Now, it may still be molten lava pain, but I don't feel it because the brain has dealt with it and figured out how to deal with it. Wow. So maybe it's been taken out of my level of conscious feeling, all right, for some reason. But now walking and balancing, that's a whole new world. And when I started walking in the walker, I was getting the nurses really angry because I would actually push the walker, which was on wheels, and would go down the hall. And now I'm standing about 3 feet from the walker. That's infinity when you can't barely lift your legs. And now I had to make my way. And the nurse, I remember the first time I figured her name.
Don't do that.
Valerie or something like that. Everything that was the nurse's name. She came running. What are you doing? I said, I'm making my brain work on overdrive, okay, to repair what's going on. It knows that I'm in danger. If I'm in danger, the brain's going to work harder to repair itself.
Wow.
Okay. And so just to placate them, I pushed it only a couple of feet, and, so it was about 1.5 feet for me. And that was, okay, and I got it. And then do it again. Oh, I got it. Then it came time to go to the gym they had, and there was 3 steps. You had a little line tied to the ceiling. So if you fell, you would dangle. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay. And they want you to go up the stairs. And I said,
don't tell me you told them,
I told them, I can't, this isn't useful. The brain knows there's no danger here. You need danger in order to grow and to fix things. If the brain thinks you're in danger, it's going to go into overdrive to prevent it. You know what that fight or flight mode does. It spurs adrenaline, and it gets the brain going, and the endorphins. It makes you feel like a Superman, and it gives you the capabilities you didn't know you had. And that's what we're tapping into here. I told the nurses that. And they just like, no, this is our rules. I said, it's insurance companies giving you the rules. And I cajoled them and begged them. It took about 2 days, and they agreed to let me go a real flight of stairs. The second floor stairs, going up the second floor, a full flight of stairs. And at the bottom of the stairs, they're saying, this is not a good idea. And they said, well, we're going to hold him and block him. They blocked the leg so it can't fall out and you fall. So they put me on the stairs, and I started to go up. I'm holding the banister with my right hand. Okay. Weak. Okay. But still there. Little dizziness, because I'm not used to standing up even on the walker, right? And then I feel Carrie, one of the therapists, touch my back. I said, Carrie, is that you? Yeah. Okay. Just stand off about 1 inch, okay? Don't let my brain know that you're there. My brain has to think it's doing it by itself. That's how this works. Well, I can't do it. No, you still can stop me in a split second. It's only 1 inch. Same thing with you, and I forgot her name. I can remember her name. On the left side of me, blocking my knee. She had her leg up against mine. I was like, no, an inch. That's all I need. I'm not going to look at either of you, and I'm going to go up these stairs. And my brain is going to think I'm alone, right? I have to be able to think I'm alone. So I started going up the stairs, and I could feel my heart rate increasing. I could feel my blood pressure rising. I could feel the fear factor in my head. And I said, good. This is what we want. The brain has to think it's a scary, dangerous thing. And this is going to set it into overdrive so it fixes itself. I get to the top of the stairs. I turn around. Probably took me 5 minutes to turn around, but I'm turning around slowly. And then looking down, I go, whoa. Well, it's like looking into infinity. My first thought is,
I hate to cut it short, but we're just about a minute left till the end of the show. And what I wanted to make sure and mention was this was not just a fluke, because someone contacted you to get the use back.
yes.
You would help them get the use back of their arms.
Yep.
From a completely, was it a different condition? Was it, or was it a stroke?
No, it was, he was 3 months into a stroke, and his hands were already kind of curled up, and, he was going to lose his livelihood. And he asked for any potential help. And I said, well,
try this.
It's fear, primal fear, and pain. Do you feel pain with anything? No. Okay. But you're fearful of things. Oh yeah. You can see. Yeah. I told his wife, take a needle and tell him you're not sure you won't stick him with the needle, and go down his fingers like this. The very sensitive fingertips go back and forth. Say, I don't know. I'm just trying to see if you can feel these things. And I don't know, I might stick you. and the pain, but it would be the thing that's going to get him to come back. Right. And the potential fear of pain. And once I was when I had the front lawn observatory here, not the Arizona one, I was in there, and my co-host was Amanda Curran at the time. She came on and said, Mark, there's a doctor from Texas in the chat. Oh, hi, doctor. How you doing? And he writes in all caps, everything you said came true. Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
It was him. He got his hands back because the fear thing worked.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've gone over just a little bit.
I know. I'm sorry.
Maybe you'll come back again, Mark, sometime.
You got to finish the story.
Actually getting you here as I did this time. But, I got to give you a bad time.
I know.
I got to give you a bad time.
Hey, that's fair enough.
I want to thank you so much for sharing that, because that is incredible. I think that can give hope to a lot of people. I think, it seems to me like it's something that maybe finds many other applications for many other types of conditions and things that something like that might work out. It's all about. I know Bill Skywatcher is telling me to wrap up. All right. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
All right, Renee. Thank you.
See you on Skype.